Hi, my friends. I am so glad that you're here. Today, I have Nancy Griffin with me. Welcome, Nancy. Thank you for taking time to be on my podcast.
Thank you so much, Amanda. And I'm delighted to be on your podcast. Delighted. Good for you to be doing all you're doing.
Oh, thank you. You as well, because you run the Women Worth and Wellness Incorporated, correct?
Correct.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what that is?
I can. I was recruited into the wealth advisory business in 1992. And of course, when I got into it, after I reflected back, I was sorry that I hadn't been in there 20 years earlier. Because how many women are wealth advisors? I mean, still, there's a shortage of women choosing that as a career. But
Mhm.
it's a really, really, really amazing role to be in. So if you have daughters or friends or anybody who's interested, tell them to really consider it, especially if young women are coming out of university. It's an amazing spot to be, and especially pertaining to women. So recruited into it. And of course, the first order of business, I mean, whoever recruits you is delighted to have you.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the next thing you have to do is go find some clients. Well, isn't this lovely? I mean, they don't deliver. It isn't like having a job where you get a regular paycheck. It's like, okay, you got to go find them. You got to go build it yourself. And they give you all kinds of training. But I decided to focus on women.
Mhm.
And so through that whole process, a lot of my clients became women. And as I started to work with women, I realized that women have a disproportionate amount of responsibility pertaining to health and wellness in their home. You
Mhm.
know, we think of men, they're the guys that look after all the investments and those big, high-powered financial questions, but it's women who kind of look after the well-being of their families. And how do they know what all the symptoms are of who knows what or the cures or whatever for kids and parents and themselves and their staff and whatever. And because women are always so busy, I decided, okay, we're going to partner with not-for-profit, health-related organizations that focus on women.
Mhm.
And we know that the leading cause of death for women is heart disease. It isn't breast cancer. And the symptoms of heart disease are quite different for women versus men because a lot of the research that has been done previously, these are starting is starting to change, but previously a lot of the symptoms were male related, not female related. So, you
Mhm.
know, really my mission was very simply to bring a lot of information and contacts to women. So if they had questions, now they've got new knowledge and they've got some new contacts. That really was very simple. And as a wealth advisor, the most important thing is that you have your health. You know,
Mhm.
that's the cornerstone, not having, $10 million in your portfolio. You can have $10 million in your portfolio and not be well. So
Mhm.
let's focus on health first. So that's when I focused on health and wealth. And then, of course, encourage women to participate in these not-for-profit events, a simple charitable donation, and getting women used to charitable donations and how that enhances your bottom line from a tax return standpoint. But
Mhm.
then because you're in a position to give, it enhances your net worth or your self-worth. So health and wealth, net worth, self-worth. And of
Yeah.
course, here we are 31 years later. Now women are stewarding more wealth than they've ever had before, wealth that they are earning, but also wealth that they're inheriting
Mhm.
from their parents and eventually from their partners, assuming the partner is a male. You know, male's life expectancy is less than women's. And
Mhm.
so now women have this huge new power opportunity to steward that wealth that they always hoped they would have. Well, guess what, girls? You've now got it. What are you
Mhm.
going to do with it?
Yeah. Yeah, those are definitely two things that I have found are really, just coming into women getting into it. Like I know I am starting the season of menopause, and finding information about menopause is starting to be a trend, but like it wasn't for so many years. It's just things that we did. So the knowledge about how women, are diagnosed and what the symptoms are for women are so different than men. And so it's I love that you brought that to them. Yeah.
I've been, and actually, I picked up on that whole topic recently. We
Mhm.
have Sinai Women's Health in Toronto, and they started a hot and bothered campaign, very much in your face, hot and bothered.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I reflected back and thought, oh my God, when I was going through menopause, that's exactly when women's prime leadership is ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
But because you're ramping up your leadership as a woman, you never you never want anything to get in the way.
Right.
So with these sweats and having to go to the bathroom and, all those symptoms, women often step aside. And
Yeah.
so I picked up on it because I want women to keep on going. Like
Mhm.
it's not your fault that you're a woman. It's not your fault you're having to deal with this. Keep on going.
Right. Yeah. As a woman, there's so many things that you go through that men just don't for your health. I mean, even like menopause, but even having babies. And I have a good friend who's just trying to work to the end of her, like right up until she gives birth. And it's like, how hard is that we have to be able to do that?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, women really, really, really are very, very, very special. Very special. As a result of this menopause topic that I picked up on, hot and bothered, I was invited to be a guest speaker at a wealth advisory conference. And of course, most of the participants will be men.
Hmm.
And I said, how much time have I have? He said 50 minutes. I'm thinking 50. Oh my God. But it's such a huge opportunity because these are wealth advisors who have clients who are prospecting for new clients. And
Hmm.
for example, if you are doing a holistic plan, you're doing investments as well as insurance in anticipation of anything that can go wrong. And sometimes, if you have submitted an insurance request and that comes back that you're rated, meaning you're not 100% perfect, they may see signs like, early dementia. Well, you know what? It may very well be menopause, which is
Hmm.
brain fog.
Hmm.
So my mission is to really increase awareness to these people that these are the things that happen to women. These are symptoms that kick in as you're going through menopause.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that because, yeah, brain fog is real, and I definitely get that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I was thinking even today, I was sitting in a meeting with other colleagues, and I just started sweating, and I'm like,
Exactly.
like it's just uncomfortable, but it's something that we bear, and it's something that we do. Like us women can do hard things, and so thank you for bringing that to the light. I like that. And the other part is financial. I feel like, it is just in this new wave where women are really getting their footing in the financial world. And like you said, now what do we do with it? Now we aren't really educated upon it. But you have been in that for a long time, I feel like, because of your mom. Would you like to talk about
Sure.
that journey a little bit?
I know, amazing. Really, really, really incredible. I mean, both my parents were really, really special, but my dad was the guy who was driving the bus all the time. He was the financial guy. He was always investing in the stock market. And way back when I was in high school, if I missed the bus, then he had to drive me to high
Mhm.
school, which is like 50-minute drive. So every morning he'd get a paper, and my job was he'd call out his stock holdings, and I had to tell him what it closed at the day before.
That's
And
funny.
so my mother knew this, but then my mother started her own business, her own homemade jam business. She was very proud of the fact that it was 100% pure. And as homemakers, what options did you have? I mean, you had to be creative within your own environment, and you had to be creative and respectful. Like you
Mhm.
couldn't all of a sudden peel off on, here's Superwoman. Okay, I'm going to do you. You
Yeah.
really had to be respectful, but at the same time, you had a right to bring your own uniqueness forward, which is what she did. Well, because she'd been surrounded by him doing all the investing, she decided she'd open her own stock account, which she did. And she used to get the Financial Post in Canada. And now it's a newspaper, but then it was only an investment paper. And it was mailed to people. So you can imagine how current the information was. And she would decide who she was going to invest in based on articles she would read about the CEO of the company and how that person approached doing their business and what sort of things they did. Well, it got to the point where, she was basically doing the research. my dad would be interested. He'd kind of like he never wanted to let on that he wanted to know from her what she was recommending, but at the same time, he really wanted to know because he knew she was pretty good at what she did.
Yeah.
So, really, when I got into the investment business, I was sorry that I hadn't been there 20 years earlier because it's an
Mhm.
amazing role to be in because you work with, individuals and families, and you work in a way that you help them bring their whole life forward in a
Yeah.
very, very positive way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And I really think that like as women are stepping into this role and taking charge of their finances, that we go back to what you mentioned a little bit earlier about like helping other people and putting
Right.
money into charities and like women really want to pay things forward. And I feel like when I was looking up you, you have a community that has events and in person and virtual. And that's part of that. I feel like just being able to give back your knowledge or give back your financial ability, whatever it may be. Can you tell us a little bit about your community?
Definitely. And, as a wealth advisor, when you work with individuals, the most important thing is that you know your client. Like you've got your own favorite approaches, your own favorite things you're doing in your life. But as a wealth advisor, what you don't do is layer those on to that person who's a client. Your
Mhm.
process is to find out where that person is coming from and what's really important to them. And if that's really important to them, then how can we enhance supporting what's important to you? So that's what a wealth advisor does. And, whether you've got 50,000 or 50 million, it just depends. It really just depends. But it's having a lot of dialogue. And women are really, really cautious about stepping up and stepping out. You know that women's philanthropy is quite different from men's. How many hospital wings do you know that have been named after a woman?
Mhm.
I mean, more and more you're seeing it named as a partnership with a
Mhm.
husband and wife, but in the past it was always Mr.
Mhm.
And so it's an emerging topic. And I think the two that are really incredible role models are Melinda French Gates and all she's doing with her foundation, as well as Mackenzie Scott.
Yeah.
Those women ended up with bagloads of money because of their husband's indiscretions,
Mhm.
and they could have just taken the money and lived the high life. Well, they didn't. They took the money and they said, okay, I'm really going to make a difference and I'm going to give out to whomever. I'm going to make a difference because I see really the power of philanthropy. And that's what women's philanthropy is all about. Incredible power, incredible power.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. And yeah, definitely. And you have a community within Women Worth and Wellness as well, do you? That
Well,
that
well,
those events like you talked about that event that Hot and Bothered, which I should go.
right,
And it has
exactly.
yeah, it has other events like that that women can do if they join.
That's exactly what we've been doing. I picked up on that and it's turned out into be a bit of a campaign, which is really, really interesting because I know this really high-end um, boutique in Toronto. This lady, she dresses everybody. She's such a lovely person, and now her daughter's in the process of working with her mother. And so we're doing a cool and comfy fashion show
Mm.
at her place. So one thing always leads to another. Women love to be together. They love to learn from one another. They love to have fun together and they love to make a difference together. So that's at the beginning of June. I think that's going to be really, really different or really, really, really fun. And we can make a difference. We have women who didn't sign up for the original event who now want to come to the fashion show. And I'm saying, well, that's fine. You're more than welcome to come, but you direct your charitable gift to Sinai Women's Health
Mhm.
because of the research that they're doing pertaining to women's health, which is great.
Yeah.
And as I may have mentioned, I've been invited to do a presentation to these wealth advisors,
Mhm.
most of whom will be men.
Yep.
And so that in itself is going to be a huge opportunity. And I'm going to start off by saying, listen, man, don't think for a minute this doesn't include you. That's why it's called menopause.
Right.
Hello, hello.
Oh, I love that. That's so funny.
Amazing. Like, where the heck did this come from? But, these wealth advisors are recruiting new prospects, also they have clients, and if it's a second generation, they're marrying into different cultures. Well,
Mhm,
think about menopause and
mhm,
how different cultures treat it.
mhm.
That's an exercise unto itself. So
Yeah.
my mission is very, very simply to just, get the message across about this happens to every single woman in this entire world if
Mhm.
she's managed to live this long. And so really it would be in your best interest to have a better awareness and appreciation.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's a great message. Um, so I ask all of the people that come onto my podcast, so I want to ask you this as well. My podcast is really about nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself. And you do this, you've just shown us how to do this through our wealth and through our health. But how do you on a daily, on an average day, take care of yourself and nurture yourself?
Well, I'm always up first thing in the morning. And
Hmm.
really, to be up first thing in the morning is, it's fun. Like it's
Hmm.
almost like you've got the whole world to yourself. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, what do I want to do today? Well, often you're on social media
Hmm.
and stuff happens, you see messages. And it's always my pleasure to amplify a message that I've seen that's really, really positive. And
Mm.
sometimes I think you're being too annoying. You're being way too annoying. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, if I'm too annoying, they have the opportunity to just opt out.
Yep.
So I'm going to keep going. And so that is what I do. And you never know what's coming at you next. You really don't. You just don't. But be thankful that you've got the opportunity to be vertical and
Mhm.
that you can engage and that you can participate. And
Yeah.
so, to the best of your ability, give back your uniqueness. And if
Yeah.
your uniqueness is too much, they'll dismiss you. They'll say, bye bye, Nancy Griffin. Adios.
I love that. No one has said that answer yet, and I appreciate that because my podcast is also about sharing our stories, and that's what you're talking about, like sharing your stories, what you know, and your education is definitely nurturing yourself as well. So I appreciate that. That sounds
Exactly. And more often when you put something out, it really does come back.
Mhm.
I've been doing a lot of posting. You know how you've got this whole library of pictures and they pop up, a memory, like,
Yeah.
there it is. And what I do is I post on Facebook your story, and now
Mhm.
I can see you've got all these musical options. So I
Yeah.
add that in. And I
Yeah.
say to my husband often, you can't believe the people that come in. It's like, but it's a way of staying connected and
Yeah.
having some fun. And I'm sure they're saying, let's see what Nancy's up to today. And and all the musical choices, the opportunities, I mean, they're just so incredible. I mean, as we've grown up, we've just been surrounded by such really, really exceptional musicians.
Mhm.
Really,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely into musicians and music and bringing joy into my life. So
right,
appreciate it.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So great. So I will definitely put all your links down below and they can
Perfect.
go check out the Women Worth and Wellness. Is there anything else that you would like to say or anything else we can do for you right now?
Nope. I always sign off by saying stay vertical and keep smiling.
Like
Like
that.
stay healthy. Do whatever you have to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And being healthy is a blessing. The rest unfolds from there. It really does. And then if win the lottery, you'll figure it out from there. But being healthy says it all.
Yeah, staying vertical. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, stay vertical and keep smiling.
Yep. Awesome. Oh,
Okay.
thank you, Nancy. It's been a true pleasure to have you on here and have this conversation with you.
Thanks, Amanda. All
Yeah.
the best.
Yes. And
Happy
thank
Mother's Day weekend.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, bye
Bye.
for now. Bye.